Good morning, everybody. It is your friend Justin here. It is September 14th of 2024, and it is 10:17 a.m. in the morning. Hope everyone's having a nice and relaxing weekend so far. I wanted to come up on here and make a video as to why everything is so expensive in regards to that. And it's not because of Democratic, communist, liberal politicians or whatever, or because the Joe Biden and the Democrats and this and that, or because of what Trump did in the past or what these politicians did. I mean, the politicians are the front men to be blamed for why everything is so expensive, but no one is really getting mad at the people actually causing it, or who caused this a long ass time ago, I should say. For those of you unaware, there is an illegal entity called the Federal Reserve, which was established here in 1913 thanks to President Woodrow Wilson, who signed the Federal Reserve Act in like December of 1913. So when he did that, it allowed a private bank not affiliated with the United States government to print the United States money supply, or should I say currency supply. So what happened when they did this is that you had people who were not of American interest, who did not care about the United States, who simply just wanted to print America's money supply, be in charge of that, because when you do that, you automatically create a monopoly over the money supply in a nation. When you do this, when you create a central bank that's not affiliated with the government but has a contract with the government, because now you own the government. Because by default, when you do that, you put the government in debt to you because you're the one printing out money, which is supposed to be paid back. And of course, we are now at $50 trillion of debt, whatever it is. I don't know the astronomical number it is, but it's probably $50 trillion. And my question is, who do you think is going to pay that off? Who has the money to pay that off? You could combine the entire world and its wealth, and I don't even think it would equal out to that much. So the system was meant to fail. It was never meant to be paid back. It was meant to be enslavement. That's what it was meant to be. But anyway, then later on, I believe, what year was it? 1933 or in the 1960s, something like that. There was all these pushes to get off the gold standard and the Bretton Woods thing or whatever. And when we came off the gold standard, the dollar was no longer backed by anything. Therefore, the money was just completely worth nothing. And that's the point, is that the money that we hold today, the money we get paid in, is worth nothing. You could see that. That's why when you go to the store, you're spending $200 every time. If it's just you and your wife or whatever, you and your girlfriend, maybe it's just you. If you have a whole family, you're probably spending up to $400 a week, if not every 2 weeks or whatever, on groceries. But it's car insurance, man. I mean, just everything is so expensive right now. I mean, you can't even get a hotel room now for one night for under $100. It's always going to be at least 150 to 200. Everything, dude. And you know what I'm talking about. If you pay bills, everything is increasing. Your rent is increasing. Your mortgages are increasing. You can't buy a home, that's for sure. If you're around my age, you can't buy a home. And even if you make six figures, you can't buy a home. You know what I'm saying? So you've been priced out. The middle, there is no middle class anymore. The future generations, because here's the thing: our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, our great great grandparents, they prospered off this. More so our great grandparents and our grandparents lived in a time where America prospered. Our parents especially grew up in a time where America's economy was really good. There were some crashes and things like that, in 2000, 2008. But for the most part, most people were able to buy homes, at least, buy food, the basic needs of life, and have a decent life, have a decent job. And that's another thing, is your wages do not keep up with the inflation that's going on right here. You can't survive if you work 40 hours a week and you make $20 an hour, which isn't bad. Working 40 hours a week, making $20 an hour isn't terrible. But you can't make a living off that. You'll just make enough money, depending on where you live, your bills. You will just make enough to survive, and you won't have enough money to do anything at all. You will just have enough money to pay your bills, pay your taxes, of course, and of course, simultaneously, when the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, the IRS was also established, and then an income tax. The government convinced the people a long time ago, our great great grandparents, they convinced them that they should be giving the government money to help out, to contribute, and they'll use this money, for highways, for schools, for police, or whatever they say it's really for. And what they really do is they take this money and they invest it into making us even more poor. They invest it into politicians, into Hollywood, into buying celebrities, into monopolizing not even just money, but monopolizing industry across the world. And they also get politicians on their side, because when you have when you own money, like, money is just never going to be an issue, because essentially you own it. You could buy everyone out. Everyone has its price. You could be like, listen, if you do this, I'll give you $10 million a year. You do this, you say this, I'll give you $50 million a year. It doesn't matter at that point. And then you can give them more based on their performance. So the more they do it, the more into it they are. That's why the Illuminati, so-called, is a thing, because it's true. It really does exist. They're not called the Illuminati or whatever. That's been made a joke, the past 10 years or whatever. But that's ultimately what these people have done, is they have monopolized almost everything in the world, pretty much everything, to where that's why we're at a point where America is about to fall apart. I mean, we are on the verge of a collapse here in the United States. You got to be really blind not to see that. People are too focused on politics. They're too focused on politicians. Most people think Trump is going to save the economy, save the world, this and that. And I understand why people think that. I know most people are asleep. But the Federal Reserve, the people who own and control it, the people who started it, Rothschild, Rockefellers, Lehman's, Vanderbilt's, people like them, J.P. Morgan's. I mean, these people, I lost my train of thought. My goodness. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. But anyway, the stakeholders in the Federal Reserve own the mainstream media. They started that, not century, my goodness, decades ago. They started the mainstream media. But the system was meant to come down. America is collapsing specifically because of this, because these people control the economy. And these, what I was going to say before, I remember now, these people control the politicians. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, whoever, Kamala Harris, Barack Hussein Obama, the George Bushes, the Clintons, they all are friends. It's WWE, to put it simply. It's scripted. It's scripted that they hate each other, but really they're in bed with each other. They have dinner together. They're all friends. They're related to each other. And that's not a conspiracy theory. Remember that little 12-year-old girl who she made like and I don't think this is by coincidence that they showed this, or that this 12-year-old really figured it out. I think they showed this on purpose. This 12-year-old girl went on this news station, and she had a chart of every single president. And every single president, including Barack Obama and all them, Joe Biden, Trump, like, they're all related. They're all distant cousins to one another. Except for one. I forgot there was one president not related to any of them. I forgot who his name was, but there was just one that wasn't related to any of them. But anyway, my point is that these people are in bed together, okay? These people are all friends, and they've got the people so hooked into politics that people can't see reality. Most people who can see reality believe Trump is going to save the day. And I get it. I get why they think that. But little do they know that it's not about voting. It's not about bringing a new politician in office. You have to dismantle the Federal Reserve. We need fair banking. And the only way right now to protect yourself from the collapse that is coming is to invest in precious metals such as gold and silver. I started investing in precious metals in 2019, and it served me very well, okay? They have doubled in value, more than doubled in value. Gold, at least, has more than doubled in value since I've invested in it. Silver is that's going to take a long time to jump up, but don't get me wrong. I mean, you could see gold potentially for over $10,000 an ounce very soon. Silver, of course, that's going to make its way up. But right now, you cannot rely on the US dollar. You can't rely on cryptocurrency. You can't rely on stock market, because if you don't hold your investments, if your investments aren't tangible, if it could be shut off and you can lose access with the snap of a finger like that, you don't truly own it. And that's my point. That's why there's a lot of conspiracy people or whatever who warn you to get your money out of the bank. Because if you have, let's say, $1 million sitting in the bank right now, and the banks collapse, or all of a sudden the dollar collapses even worse, and your money's worth nothing, or there's a cyber attack, and you can't get in because China or Russia is cyber attacking us, you're screwed. But if you have it tangible, or you have it hidden somewhere and you know where to go locate it, you'll be okay. You can barter with people if the system is down or whatever. And when the dollar does collapse and you have gold or silver or whatever, it's gonna be worth a stupid amount. But why is everything so expensive though? Because you have, again, an illegal establishment here dwelling in the United States that's printing money from nothing. I mean, it's imaginary. They don't actually own this money. They just imagine it in their head. They type a few figures in a computer screen, and after that, voila, it's printed out. 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. Wow, it's just all right there. That costs them, oh, good. Who knows, pennies to create a couple dollars, maybe pennies to create a couple dollars. I mean, it's a scam that's enriching a few and enslaving, the 99.9%. And then on top of that, they make you pay taxes. They make you pay an income tax. So these bankers are just imagining numbers in their head, essentially. And then on top of that, they're creating debt, which debt is a whole nother thing. And mind you, this is money that's been imagined, and they're creating debt. They're creating more money for themselves. And then on top of that, taxing you, right? And I mean, worst of all, it's worse that it's bad they tax us on buying stuff, but the fact that they income tax you, they take 30% of your money every year, man. I mean, that's bad. That's a real smack in the face to a government that claims that they care about the people, and that they have your best interest at heart. So that's why everything is so expensive, because they're printing money out of nothing. They're creating debt. They're devaluing the dollar, and your wages aren't keeping up with that. And then there's inflation. They can create, oh my goodness, they can create inflation. They can just change the price of stuff. They can make it go up or down as they please. And this is how a few can benefit. There's a reason why a few benefit. I mean, I am no stock market expert or financial expert by any means, monetary expert or whatever. But there's people who are. And those people who are on the right side of history and care about the truth and aren't sold out, they usually tend to be successful when there's crashes and when the economy is in this way. Kind of like the 2008 crash. There were so many people who saw that the housing market was going to crash before it did, and there was many people who got rich off of that. The same can happen here. There is an opportunity with precious metals for you to make some money for yourself, to secure your financial future. So that's all I'm going to say here. I mean, I hope I'm saying something that makes sense. I know the stuff with the Federal Reserve is kind of confusing. It has to do with fractional reserve banking, which essentially is loaning. It's like you're the bank, right? You have everyone's money. You're just loaning other people's money out to other people, because it's unlikely that everyone who has their money in the bank is going to all at once withdraw, like, all their money or $100 or whatever. That's very unlikely. So they just, if I deposited $100 in the bank, they're going to take it, they're going to add it all up to whatever the total amount is they have, and my money's in there, and they're just going to use it to loan it out to other people. And then, if I wanted to get it back, I'm not getting the $100 I actually put in. I'm getting probably someone else's $100 that they put in. And it's just numbers on a screen that say I have this much in my bank account. That's all it is. It's numbers. It's figures. It's fake. It's a sham. It's a scam. That's what I'm trying to say with the Federal Reserve and how it operates. And that's why everything is so expensive, because we have allowed private bankers, a private entity to dwell here for over 100 years. That's devalued the dollar. That's taken us off the gold standard. That's taxed us half to death. That's still trying to implement more taxes. That's monopolized industry on top of that. that's gotten into, they have their tentacles in Hollywood and mainstream media. I mean, it's industry across the world that these people own. When you own money, there is nothing left to satisfy you besides raw power and control, ultimately. So the solution to all this, one, it's very unlikely that people are going to get together and do something about this, because I don't see that happening. People are too reliant on politics, and this politician's going to save the day, this and that. So I don't think anything's going to happen. I think we're going to get plummeted to the ground. I think America's going to fall, because people can't stop looking at the lies. People don't want to put their petty differences aside and come together. So I think the United States is going to fall to its knees. I think the U.S. dollar is going to plummet, and we're going to see a new digital currency that's going to go hand in hand with like 5G, 6G technology. It's probably going to be some biometric thing that's somehow, some way inside you. Could go hand in hand with a vaccine, another pandemic of some sort. I mean, the elites have us by the balls. They have the United States by the balls, and if the United States falls, the entire world will fall. So unless Americans wake up, nothing is ever going to change. We are going to continue to plummet into the ground. And I'm not trying to sound negative. I'm just telling you reality. I'm telling you there's a solution here. So you can continue to pretend like everything is okay. You can continue to live life as if these things aren't happening. You're getting priced out. I know you feel it, bro. You feel these prices, and they're not going to go down. Even if Trump wins, it's not going to go down, the prices. That is not part of the agenda of the elites, to bring the prices down on us. Trust that. Or ease up or let up. They're going to ramp this thing up because they have us by the throat. Your friend Justin. Hope I said something to help today. I'm out of here.